in your spiritual growth, and as you go deeper and deeper into your divine soul knowing, and you have let go of your thoughts and ideas about what you think you know, so that you can get back into the infinite unconditional love of your divine soul knowing, I'm sure that you've discovered that absolutely beyond the shadow of your human doubt, we are not alone in the universe. And this light circle is cosmic contact through consciousness. And basically, what I want to do is bring together light workers of different disciplines and different stages of reawakening, but we all have this one common interest, and that is coming to embrace emotionally, mentally, physically, and on all levels the fact that we are not alone in the universe, and we want to assist each other and humanity to wake up to that one salient fact. Because evolving consciousness is key to understanding the cosmos and our role in it. If you are deep enough in your divine soul knowing, you know instinctively that you're here to serve on some level. You're here to help people wake up on some level. And so if you're at all interested in assisting humanity in waking up to the fact that we're not alone in the universe and embracing that mentally and emotionally, then this is your new home. Now, part of the process is of this whole thing is to learn to discern what's the fact from the fiction. And I'm talking about what's flowing around the internet as well as what's flowing around in your own mind. Now, why is this important? We've gotten accustomed to doing our own work. So we've released a lot of those things that have been holding us back. But the fact is that we forget that we're not an island. And that not only are we manifesting with the infinite unconditional love of cosmic consciousness, but we also are manifesting within the collective consciousness of humankind. And so the more that we lift ourselves up, that will ripple out into the world around us, which will ripple out into the world around then. And then that lifts up humanity. And then as humanity is lifted up, that creates for us a lighter, richer environment in which we can manifest in. And so it's a win-win all the way around. The biggest and most prevalent thing, and I like to talk about, is that humans have been so conditioned to believe that we're top dog on the we're top dog on the totem pole, and we're not the top dog on the totem pole. But what happens is that in believing that we're top dog on the totem pole, it creates this entire hamburger universe. And that's where we believe that the good is above, the bad is below, and we're all scrambling in between. And in this hamburger scramble, that's when we feed into and we sustain and hold up these ideas that the politicians have the control because they're above us. The financial system, all of the money flows upwards. um, in business, we have to kowtow to those that are above us. And so in wanting to break free of that hamburger universe, that's what's created a lot of the conflict that's going on with humanity right now. It's also what has created that us versus them gobbler mentality, that eat or be eaten. And now we think we don't participate in that gobbler. Oh yeah, I'm spiritual and I've done all these wonderful things. But the fact of the matter is that you do participate in that gobbler mentality whenever your human ego intellect wants to hang on to what it thinks it knows and it doesn't listen to your divine soul knowing. And your divine soul is that part of you that is consciously aware. It's the origin spark of creation of you. And it's consciously aware of your connection to everything that ever was, is, and will be. It resides in the Akashic records of the cosmos. So you can tap into any piece of information anywhere if you've got the open mind to it. And anytime that you're not open to it, then you're participating in your own us versus them, or my ego intellect versus my divine soul knowing conflict. The other thing that is part of the human conditioning, and this has been part of that really intense psychological warfare that has been going on ever since World War II, and that is that aliens are bad. They're real bad. And you can look at all of our movies, you can look at all of those uh, messages that have come to us where you get ridiculed if you talked about it. And then all of the aliens are bad in the movies, and there's very few really good messages about aliens. But the fact of the matter is that if you really want to be in touch with your cosmic cousins, if you want to be in touch with your soul family group, if you want to really go deep into what is your divine purpose for having incarnated here on earth, it requires unconditional love. It requires stepping out of all of those paradigms and into the unconditional love of you. And I can tell you, and I'll share some of the stories along the way, but I can tell you that I have had a lifetime of experiences with other sentient species that are not incarnated into the human form. And I have been treated with nothing but respect. And they have also assisted me along the way to move from that early stages where I astral traveled as a child and I played with them in the cosmos, the human conditioning where I learned that it was of the devil and it was bad, and I definitely learned to keep my mouth shut. And I've had an entire lifetime of experiences as they've helped me move out of that old conditioning. And there's been nothing but love and respect along the way. So this is part of the things that we really want to assist people in moving through. Because when you look at the different conversations that are going on within that community, there's the nuts and bolts tech people. They're the ones that are very much interested in just give me those nuts and bolts, the technology. Then there are all of the government issues and those conversations that are going on about how who are the key players and how is this being moved through Congress so that we can get out of this cloak and dagger secrecy, which has created this incredible myth of the Truman Show. And if you know that movie, it's everything was orchestrated and it was all false. And this is what we've been living and operating and manifesting in is this Truman Show, that we are the high guys on the totem pole. And this is part of what I'm hoping this light circle will help us turn upside down and evolve. Then there are also the experiencers within that UFO conversation. And within the experiencers, there's some that have had wonderful experiences and there's some that have had horrible experiences. And what is that based on? It's based on your own individual belief system. That's why you can go back to the original um, Barney Hill story, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it was somewhere in the late 50s, I believe, and it was the mixed race couple. And she had one experience, he had a total different experience. One was very loving, one was very fearful, because that's how they came from their point of view, their worldview. So also understanding and assisting other people in evolving their worldview out of fear and into unconditional love is really important. And then there's the whole consciousness thing. And what I would like to see is through these transmissions of infinite unconditional love for ourselves and also into humanity, is to assist all of these different groups to not be so doggone afraid of consciousness and not face consciousness so much from their ego intellect. Because the fact of the matter is, and we all know this as light workers, you cannot understand infinite cosmic consciousness from your head. It is not an ego intellect game. You've got to live it to know it, and you've got to feel it. And so this also is part of what this light circle is about, is to involve us and to share those transmissions and vibrations of infinite unconditional love with each other, and then receive it back, receive help from our more enlightened cosmic cousins. And also, as we lift ourselves up, we're also lifting them up. Since we are an integral part of humanity and an integral part of the human experience, this often directly aligns with what is going on in our own personal worlds. And so we usually start from there and we'll see where it is reflected out in the human collective consciousness, or we will look at the human collective consciousness and see how that affects us. But together we will come up with what is our core intention that we all agree on. Now, I need to tell you that the light work is multidimensional in nature. Regardless of the spiritual discipline that you come from, I try to use a very neutral language so that you can start to learn that vibrational language of your divine soul knowing, and then translate that into new kinds of words. And then you can also translate that back into whatever spiritual discipline that you work with and that language, so that you can speak about what you're doing with other people that are in your world. And this is how this will also ripple out in everyday conversations. Now, naturally, the benefits for you is the personal transformation, because you cannot do for others without it flowing through you and you growing deeper in your awareness of the infinite unconditional love of your cosmic knowing. There's a deepening awareness of and a connection to your cosmic soul family. And this is the soul family that you were born into when you were originally thought into being. Um, but you have your core soul group that you came from as you incarnated in. If your core soul group is actually human in nature, that's good too. You'll connect with those within your soul family on deeper levels. Um, it is a deepening awareness of what is your divine purpose here on earth. And that's really, really important. And you'll start to recognize how you've been manifesting that already. You'll start to move deeper into yourself so that you lean into it more. And this is all very much an organic process. And in the process, you also get a full appreciation of your natural divine gifts and an understanding of how that dances and plays and magnifies with the divine gifts of others. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for being interested in learning on how to live your light more fully and freely with emotional freedoms that you haven't even yet begun to dream of. And that gives you the courage and clarity to live your divine soul purpose. Now, just so that I play well with the algorithms here on YouTube, be sure to like the video. Please leave me a comment, because I do love more two-way conversations, and subscribe if you want to stay in touch with any of the new material that I'm putting out there.